And I now give the floor to the representative of the Asian Disaster Preparedness Center.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's now 4 years since the adoption of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, and what has been achieved? A number of indicators point to more impact of disasters due to climate change, rapid urbanization, and environmental degradation. At the same time, knowledge, social and economic cooperation is increasing resilience and resulting in more effective risk reduction and emergency response. 2 weeks ago, 2.4 million people were taken out of harm's way from the cyclone Fani striking India and Bangladesh, and this is a significant achievement. Despite this, all of you gathered here know that much more needs to be done, particularly in reducing risk and building resilience. The Asian Disaster Preparedness Center, or ADPC, is working together with communities, governments, the United Nations and international organizations, as well as the NGOs, civil society agencies, academia and media, and the private sector towards our visions of safer communities and sustainable development through disaster risk reduction in Asia and the Pacific. ADPC, founded in 1986 as an intergovernmental organization based in Bangkok, Thailand, with offices in several countries in South and Southeast Asia. Working hand in hand with the UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, or UNDRR, ADPC is following through on a number of commitments in the Ulaanbaatar Statement, the Declaration from the 2018 Asian Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction, or AMCDRR. ADPC is following through on the call for developing coherence in the implementation between the major global frameworks. And the 14th meetings of the Regional Consultative Committee on Disaster Management, or RCC, held in Kathmandu in December, brought together 18 countries in Asia and Pacific to discuss what it means in practice at national and local level to do this. And the Kathmandu statement from the RCC meeting is providing direction in this area and is being followed up. To improve local capacities in DRR, resilience and recovery, ADPC is implementing a regional initiative to empower local actors in 6 countries, soon to be 8, by improving capacities and coordination and leadership and governance of local government, civil society and the private sector. This investment in local capacity is also a direct contribution to core responsibility number 5 of the World Humanitarian Summit. And working with UNDRR, ADPC is supporting assessments of the status and development of national and local strategies in DRR, Target E of the Sendai Framework, in 10 countries in Asia. To respond to the call for accelerating the work in building capacity in systems for countries to report on the Sendai Framework, ADPC have worked with UNDRR to develop an e-learning module on the guidelines and tools in the reporting. It has to date been used by several hundred practitioners and is currently available in English but will shortly be translated in the major UN languages. The Ulaanbaatar Declaration calls for strengthening regional platforms of DRR, and ADPC has redoubled its effort to support the RCC with its 26 member countries and will soon expand its other initiatives from 6 to 8 countries. To support rights-based approaches in DRR and the whole-of-society approaches, with special attention to the consequences of gender inequality, poverty and needs of vulnerable groups, ADPC is implementing a regional initiative with practical work in Nepal, Philippines and Papua New Guinea. And we are also addressing finding fit-for-purpose technical solutions with respect to remote sensing and GIS. These are some of the ways in which ADPC is supporting the efforts of UNDRR, countries and agencies engaged in the implementation of the Sendai Framework and other global frameworks addressing disaster risk reduction and resilience. On behalf of ADPC, I would like to reaffirm our commitment to make communities resilient to disaster and climate change risk, especially by addressing urban resilience, localization of preparedness and response capacity, and use of scientific data and tools, and the integration of gender equality and human rights in disaster risk reduction. We look forward to join hands with many more actors in the coming year to turn the aspirations of the Sendai Framework, the Agenda 2030, and other related global and regional agreements into a reality for a safer, more equitable and prosperous Asia and the Pacific. Thank you for your attention.